Hi everybody, happy Thanksgiving week. It's Diane Rivera, or also known as Lucky Gardenia. I have not been, um, posting to this channel, and it's probably been months. There's several reasons. I haven't been feeling like stitching, so there wasn't really anything stitching related to post up on this channel. I did launch another channel and have been doing short little videos for that, but really nothing stitch related. But I recently have actually felt like stitching, and I don't know if you ever go through times where, I kid up a lot, as you probably do. I watch these wonderful Flosstube videos. I see all these wonderful patterns. I want them. I generally buy them, and then I want all the floss to go with them, and get them somewhat ready to roll if if I feel like doing that pattern. And when you go a couple months in between stitching, it's hard to find where you put everything. So the other night I felt like stitching and had some idea about what I wanted to work on. I think it was a long dog sampler, but I couldn't find it. I couldn't find the fabric that would be the right size. I couldn't find the threads that I had to go with it. So I stitch mainly when I'm sitting up in bed, and I have what I would call the magnified light right by the bed, and I can sit up. My pugs can jump up and go to bed, and I can just listen to an audiobook or watch Prime Videos or Netflix or Hulu, whatever's going on at that time, or a lot of audiobooks. So I was sitting there, couldn't find what I really had intended. Sorry, I just look kind of funny. As you know, I don't edit, so this is like the fifth take at this, so I'm just going to roll with it, and I apologize for me flustering around. My shirt's not laying right with this jeans jacket. My hair looks kind of funny, but hopefully you can get past that. And I'll probably say a lot, and I'm trying to get a handle on that, but sometimes it just pops right out. Anyway, take you back to the day I started feeling like stitching, and I don't know if you ever feel this way. I mean, there's a lot of complicated patterns out there. The complicated where you're changing thread, colors, floss, every stitch, and sometimes you just want something where for a little bit of time you're using the same color. So I ended up hunting around the bed and came up with one, and I'm trying to find it. It's Little Jane Sampler, Happy Crow. I don't know if you can see that. I had that, actually I had started it just barely, but I could kind of move some things around. I had it, actually, I used these Happy Planner Furiers that are really intended for planner people, and had everything stuck in there. So it was ready to go. I'll show you what I've done, which is not much at all. I don't know if you can see, but I was doing the hearts, and they're all this, each one was a solid color, and I thought, hey, that's gonna work. So I've started that one, and if you know me, I'm usually looking for multiple ones to be working on. Not like I'm really producing much. I had signed up for a Deborah Dix mystery style, and it was called Swans and Shears. And I believe, you can purchase them for like $5. She sets up a Facebook group for those that have joined and paid and bought the pattern, and does like an upload on a monthly basis. Well, I joined the party very late in the game, but had probably seen one on Instagram or on Facebook. I thought, oh, that's so cute, and I can't show you a picture of it because they were coming out in segments, and it was a mystery, so there wasn't a picture. And so I had seen several takes of the called for colors, and then I had also seen a version where someone had chosen muted colors, like pastels, and it was gorgeous. So that's what I'm aiming for. The other night I just went and started pulling threads, and I don't know if you can see all these baggies, but don't know which ones I'm going to use. There's some really light blue, kind of light lavenders, some minty greens, and chartreuse. Let's see. Some more kind of grays. Some taupe color. Some somewhat goldy brown colors. And then some peachy. Light peach to really light peach. So I just figure I will figure it out as I go along and just see what looks like it's working. I've seen versions where they use two colors. You could also just do it all one color. So they really are very clever. And I don't think the whole pattern's available at this moment. The Sal went down, the Facebook page was pulled down the end of October. So if she's going with what she normally does, it will eventually, I think, be posted as a full-blown pattern in her Etsy shop. And I think it's called Tempting, Tangles? Tempting Tangles Design. And she's got a lot of really nice patterns, some samplers, some have to do with those of us that are coffee drinkers or tea drinkers or holiday themed hearts for like Valentine's. So check it out. She's on Etsy, and I think she may also have her own website, but well, we're checking out, and I truly think I will work on that one. The other one that is fully kitted up that I could find was, it's called Antique Celtic Sampler, and I've shown it before, and it says, "Here there be monsters," and it's just really cute. And the person that I saw complete this, on the end of the dragon's claws, they did red fingernails and then ended up putting red lipsticks on the monster. So I think I may try to do something like that. And I also saw on Instagram someone had completed a, who's this by? It's called the Gecko Rouge, like Moulin Rouge, and it's Abstract Frida. They had done one, I think it was like downtown Italy, Venice, but it had these same abstract squares, and it really was outstanding. So I did pick this one out because there are many color changes, but there are blocks, so it's not like Heaven and Earth designs where you're changing it every 2 seconds. I bought Heaven and Earth, and I'm sure I will not make one of them. It's just not going to be what I like to do. And mine's mainly for stress relief and creativity, and that just becomes too stressful. So I like Frida, as you know, and I've got an abstract pug and an abstract Frida. So probably I still have those available, kitted up. I know where those are. So those are going to be my go-to. And there was one kit. I'm trying to think what it was. I can't remember what it was. It was something that I bought at Hobby Lobby. And I tried to separate the floss, and I'm trying to think of who made it. And I couldn't get the floss separated. It was crazy. You know, I guess I take how nicely made DMC floss is, but my gosh, this, you know, you tried to separate it, it just would get tangled. There was no way I could use it at all. I was going to have to go match up the threads, and, you know, part of the plus side of getting a kit is that everything's provided, so that really, I mean, why put in crummy threads? I mean, floss has gone up. I went and bought quite a few this past couple of days, and yeah, it had gone up to 56 cents here, at least in the Dallas area. And thank goodness I had a Joanne Fabrics coupon that took 20% off the total. So that brought it down a little bit, but it really, I don't know if cotton's gone up, something's caused that to rise in prices. So as always, you know me, if I'm stitching, I'm buying floss. And I had a friend say, you know, my God, don't you have enough floss? And yes, I probably do. And because these are kitted up, there are many different kits. So sometimes it's just easier to go buy more floss. Crazy as that sounds, but that's true. I talked about using that magnifying light, and sometimes I'm not that far, it's on the other side of my bed. So I pulled this thing back out that I got off of Amazon, and let's see, you can see it lights up. And it actually worked, and my eyesight has been off and on when I'm working. It seems like it's getting worse. I'm having to get a higher strength of lenses because I can't see. And I think maybe I need to not wear reading glasses all the time. Maybe my eyes are getting too dependent on them. If anybody knows about that, let me know. But definitely have to be able to see to do my job. So that's been a challenge. And then also, you know, I think when you're healthy, you kind of take it for granted. For years and years, I've been going to arthritis doctor is what I call them. I don't have rheumatoid arthritis. I have osteo. And been taking Celebrex for that. And because I'm getting prescriptions, I go 4 times a year. And, you know, they keep track of, you know, do blood tests a lot. And anyway, I have one finger, my middle finger on my right hand, which is my dominant hand, that was swelling up at the middle knuckle. And usually, you know, I'm going every 3 months. I could get a shot of steroids in there. It would reduce the swelling. All was well. And then when it was about time to go back, it would swell back up. Well, this time when I went, my finger had gotten a whole lot worse. And I won't even show it to you, but my middle knuckle and then down to, you know, in between where your finger connects to your first knuckle had swollen up terribly. And so I was really looking for some relief, and the opposite happened. It is like it just made it worse. And I went back in, and I mean, it's so swollen that the finger's curling. And he told me to come back in. He wanted to see what was going on with it. And I tried to see if he could, you know, get something to drain it or whatever. And, before, sometimes they were able to pull the fluids off. And he said, it just, for the most part, it's just too thick. So, does anybody have any home remedies? I've been trying Epsom salt. I tried, I didn't get the unfiltered organic apple cider, which I think I need to get. I just got apple cider vinegar, and you use it as a compress, and it helped a little bit, but today it is just even worse than ever. So it really is kind of changing my ability to do some things, and I'm having to do my sewing differently. So I guess my point is, we take our health for granted, and then you lose something that's not quite working correctly, and it's where I can't even get it to function that well. Plus, it's just embarrassing. It's, my grandmother had osteoarthritis. I think it was osteo, and my aunt also had it on my dad's side, and obviously I've got it. So hopefully my daughters won't get it, or maybe they'll come up with some great remedy. But it really is life altering, and just one little thing, you just take for granted feeling good. So I've been dealing with that recently, I guess, for the past month or so. But, it's really kind of hard to hide your hands. And it really is, like I said, it's embarrassing. What else health-wise? Every time I go to the arthritis doctor, I get weighed. And he's the one that figured out that my thyroid was not working and put me on meds. Wasn't getting the type of improvement that I had hoped for, or he had hoped for. Although the blood test looked like it was working, I was not feeling the relief from it. I never realized, I know I've already talked about this, but it was quite a while ago, how much your thyroid really impacts all your organs, your hormones, just everything. And I ran across, thank God I ran across a video of a former ballerina in New York. She was a prima ballerina. I mean, she was talented, and she, was dancing up to 18 hours a day, performing, and she was putting on weight, losing her hair, tired. Same thing, low thyroid, got on the meds. Blood test came back fine, but she wasn't feeling any better. So because she was adopted, she did the 23andMe test and then sent that off to additional testing. And come to find out, there was something wrong on some DNA, part of her DNA, and she needed to get folic acid that had been activated. And found it on Amazon, and basically shared with her audience what she was taking, and how much it had really made the difference, and helping her body to absorb the thyroid medicine. Well, clickety click, I was over on Prime ordering it, and immediately saw relief. I lost, I think, 6 pounds this first week. Anyway, I kind of keep up to date with my weight, because I can go overboard. I'm a former anorexic, so I try not to get too weight conscious, because I can go totally overboard. So I was using that primarily as a status. It's like every 3 months. And since my weight since July of 2017 to date, and I didn't start taking the folic acid B12 until end of October last year. But since that time frame, I've lost 35 to 40 pounds, which is significant. I've kind of, my neck's compressed. I'm 5'1", so that's wonderful that I've, you know, this is right sizing. I'm getting back to the weight that I was in high school, early marriage, and like I said, due to medication, I had put on a lot of weight, and nothing's worse than putting on weight and not eating more than what, you know, where you normally gain weight, and having to deal with that. So happy to find it. That's what I was going to share with you by wearing this, is I go treasure hunting at resale shops, and that's where I get all my clothes. And this jeans jacket and this blouse were too small, but I like them enough. And I think this top is like Ann Taylor, Anne Klein, something like that. And it wasn't, the price was really low, and I'm like, I'm going to buy it. Who knows? A miracle could happen. I could fit in it someday. So all those rules of thumb, like if you haven't worn it in a year, get rid of it. I beg to differ. I kind of kept these as talisman, and with the hopes of someday getting in them. And look, I'm so happy to say that I am right now. So, like I said, I'm hopefully not going wacky with this. I'm just not having the cravings that I had. Every night I was eating ice cream. Not really having those cravings. I am able to stop when I'm full, and actually get mad that because I've kind of set that as my guideline. Stop when you're full. And a lot of times my brain is saying, I want more. It's really delicious. And generally when it's hitting that this is really something that I'm enjoying, that you realize you're full. And you think, oh my gosh, you get angry. But so far that guidelines helped. And then trying not to eat late at night. If I get really hungry, I can't sleep, I get up and, heat up some frozen peaches and put on Splenda and then some Cool Whip, and that kind of gets me to the point where I don't feel hungry and I can go to bed. So that's kind of what's been up with my health. And what else can I share with you? Oh, I had a couple other things I wanted to share with you, creativity-wise, and then another little brief life update. And I actually wrote down some stuff to cover. Just while I'm thinking about it, exciting news. My oldest daughter has been working on her master's for education, and she is graduating in December. I'm so proud of her. Both of my daughters, I've talked about repeatedly. They are not only beautiful, they're not only funny, they're kind, they're smart. They're much smarter than me. And my grandfather on my mom's side was a legitimate genius, and he was in the who's who of civil engineers, did quite a bit of well-known work in Texas. And he was, I think I've also spoken about him before, he was 25 years older than my grandmother. But he was very, very smart. It just get me right off by. But luckily my daughters have it, and they're both, I think, brilliant. But not only brilliant, they're down to earth, they're fun. I think they are a lot like me. I said they didn't fall far from the tree in the fact that they're very fun-loving and funny. And anyway, I think back on their dad, and I don't think their dad was that funny. So I'm going to claim it. I'm going to own that they got that from me. And your children, you look at them, and there's one daughter that I think looks more like me, but then I look back at a picture of me when I had Robin, and she was just a baby on the bed, and I look, oh my God, I look just like Robin. But then I look at Robin and she looks like her dad. It's like, it's just DNA. It's so intriguing. Jennifer, the youngest, their dad is Hispanic. And so Jennifer has the dark, exotic look to her. I think she looks like Cher. She's got dark brown eyes, gorgeous. And then Robin is gorgeous and has the lighter complexion like me and the hazel eyes like me. But she looks a lot like her dad. But like I said, it's like at different periods of my life, I look back at pictures or look at them at one moment. I see me. Sometimes I see them. They both do. One of the features about myself that I actually do like are my eyelashes, and I believe they both got long eyelashes. So I will claim that too. Got to take your wins wherever you can find them. But you can find pictures of my lovely daughters. I still have not sat down with them to do a guest join me kind of thing, and they've both committed to really wanting to do it, and Jennifer really is gung-ho, so maybe during Christmas holidays, I think we're planning to get together, go get some barbecue, go back to Robin's house and drink some wine or some beer, and who knows, we could do a videotape. So hopefully, I think they're game to do it, and I think it would be hilarious. I love the channels where there's a partner in crime, and right now I don't have anybody, for this one, and none of my friends cross stitch, and it's just kind of me. My daughters don't cross stitch, but they're willing to jump on and talk about life, so hopefully do that soon. One other thing, or one of two things I wanted to share, is this book. It's called The Creativity Cure, and it's really interesting. And I haven't read the whole entire thing, but it's two doctors that are married that came up with something that was eye-opening to them. One was a hand surgeon, the other one was like a psychologist, and the theory is there's 5 things that if you do on a daily basis that will help you be creative and happy. And the 5, just to give you some idea of what it is, it's like, this is like at the very beginning. So I'm sure it intensifies as you get further in the book, but like insight, like, have you ever... what's her name? Julia Cameron's book on morning pages that, just automatic writing where you're not looking at punctuation, grammar, it's flow writing. And it just helps you get things out of your head, and it helps with healing. So insightful writing, which also could be journaling. And I like to journal. I like bullet journals, and I need to get back into it. But sometimes when your hands are not doing so well, it's not usually my go-to thing. But I do really cherish the journals that I've written because, frankly, there's a lot of my childhood that I do not remember. And my sister Tracy has been filling me in. It's like she's not quite 3 years. She's probably 2.5 years older than I. So she was older. She remembers a whole lot more than I do. And she's shared stuff with me, and it's like did I get myself hit fall on my head or something? The other day we were talking, and we've had some family unfortunate things happen with a loved one in our family that has been very disappointing, and somebody I used to talk to almost on a daily basis. And now that that's not there, my mom is gone. She's passed on 3 years, and she had a stroke 3 years prior to that. So there was a gap for me as far as friendship and just someone to share life with. And my older sister has really filled the gap. And over the last year, we don't live close together. She lives in another state, but we talk a lot. And that's been the upside of the whole tragic event that I won't go into, but just where a family member really disappoints you and it has a really negative impact on other siblings. So, enough said about that, but props go out to my older sister. But she told me the other day, which I have no recall of, that she said that I would come sleep with her in her bed. She said until I was like in 6th grade, and I have no memory of that. I remember going in her room on Christmas Eve, you know, because I couldn't sleep, and we played Barbies, and be quiet because we didn't want to go downstairs, but, you know, we're too excited to sleep. But seriously, I have no recall of that. So that's where journaling comes in. Sometimes I have some from high school, from junior high, and just a tad from college. And you know, you think you're going to remember everything, your friends' names, the places that you frequented, what your days were like, who your friends were, what discos you went to, and you really don't. And that's where that has come so much into play. I can go back and it just brings memories flooding back. So I need to get back into that and just do it. I mean, it's just one of those things that's going to help you on so many levels. So getting back to this, the creativity cure, insight for 10 minutes a day, movement, which could be walking, it could be mowing the grass, it could be dancing, Zumba, belly dancing, yoga, biking, weightlifting, something where you're up and using your body. Mind rest, that's, you know, where you just kind of go blank. I'm not very good at meditation, but sometimes cross-stitching could be like meditation because you get kind of lost in the flow of it. So this is saying do nothing, lie on your back, you know, in the grass, go lay in your bed for a couple minutes, just give your mind a break. And then creativity, do something with your own two hands is what they call it. And that's for 20 minutes. And that's where cross-stitching comes in. So you could paint, watercolor, I like to watercolor, you could cook, you could knit, draw, do a glue book, cut and paste, which I like to do, gardening. So, you know, there's probably things that are endless that you could do, but it really is healthy for us to do that for our not just our creativity, growth, you know, expression, but just for your mental health, I think. And then mind shift, which, you know, I need to read that a little bit further. It says 10 minutes. To me, it sounded kind of like insight, you know, writing journals. So I think the insight is where you through your writing, you do some healing, you work through some issues, and maybe mind shift. Oh, I do recall. It says like catching yourself with negative thoughts. And, you know, I tend to worry. I'm a worrywart. And, you know, kind of stopping that repetitive negative thoughts and replacing them with positive affirmations. I need to do those. So I just thought I'd bring that up. I ran across that book at Half Price Books, and, you know, it just is so different from anything I've seen on creativity and just mental health, so to speak. The other thing I wanted to share with you is happy planners. You know, I love journals. Buy way too many journaling things. And happy planners have been kind of a off and on thing with me. And what I'm going to show you when I think I'm not going to get them, they come out with something really cool. But they had something a while back, and I can't remember. It was in the summer, and they announced it that they were going to do a happy something box. And it had a planner in there, and it came with some really cool stuff, and it just was really neat. It gave you where you could track exercise, reflection. Today was what you're thankful for, focusing on, daily gratitude, joy of today, focusing on. This was more like life enriching than some of their other ones. And also on the Happy Planners, which is really cool, and I don't know if it's in this one. It's probably in their normal ones. It's where right before at the beginning of a month, we pull one of these out. This is one I've got for fitness. I am bound and determined to get back into yoga. I did go back to belly dancing, which it's been 6 years, and I just really at that point I'd been doing it consecutive years. I've moved up in different advanced levels. I wanted to go back and just, for the fun of it, for the exercise. I could pick up choreography pretty easily back then. Now, not so much. You know, I'm trying to pull out my DVDs on belly dancing, and I'm so thankful that I saved them and that I have a TV that will actually play a DVD. And what I'm realizing, it used to be doing the choreography, and I'm sure it was from being an Apache Bell, being in the drill team in high school. Drill team down in Texas is a dance line for like football games, basketball games. It's not like drill team, like a flag team for a band. It's dance related. But anyway, the belly dancing studio I went to taught choreography for a group, the whole class to dance. So, you know, I'm all about that. But I recently went back, and not only was my flexibility gone, just my ability to pick up the choreography really quick. And there's a performance coming up in a couple of weeks, and it was just putting too much pressure on myself. And I thought, you know, I really just went back for the fun of it. I love the friends I have at the studio. Excuse me, drinking Diet Coke. But I was feeling the pressure to learn choreography. So, you know, I just really, you know, those difficult conversations are hard for me to have, and but sometimes you just have to have them. And thank goodness, you know, I'm friends on Facebook with the studio owner, and I IM'd her and just said, you know, for right now, I just want to come to class and just dance. And they're preparing for a performance. I'll just stand on the sidelines, and I have no expectations of performing. I really have done that. I loved pulling together costumes. I had wigs. But I'm just at a different place. And actually pulling out the DVDs, you know, what I'm finding is I just like the drill of doing hip drops or samayas or mayas and three-point turns, and, you know, without really having to perform or remember anything. And it really, you feel it when you do it. You think it's not exercise, it really is. And I highly recommend it. There's choreography or information on YouTube, or DVDs if you have a DVD player. But, oh, I was going to look in here. I don't know if it... Okay, here. This isn't quite the same, but like it has... This is February of next year. February goals. This is for a fitness tracker. So, this one just came out. And if you do get a Happy Planner, get metal rings. If it comes with plastic one, buy these separately. It just... These are made to pop in and out, but they just slide so much easier on the metal ones. But on this one, it just, let's see, it notes what the holidays are, and then you have room to put in any important dates, what I'm loving about myself. I can write how I'm strengthening my body, how I'm strengthening my mind and and what's inspiring me. Some of the other ones, and I don't think I have one that would have it. It's like I'm currently reading, I'm thinking, I'm focusing on, I'm cooking, what am I watching on TV, what am I listening to, and it's just kind of that temperature take of what you are interested in at that given moment or that month. So, you know, the one downside to this is, you know, they're not as permanent because they do pull out, but what I really love about this, I mean, how cool is this? And they've got some really, I'm trying to find, cool graphics and pictures that are inspiring, and they're doing a challenge for Happy Holidays, and it's really on gratitude and awareness, and not just presents for Christmas, but really enjoying the season, feeling good about yourself, being grateful, being mindful. And I think what I was getting to is what I love about the company is it's family run. And I think the mother and the daughter had started it as a scrapbooking company. And scrapbooking has kind of gone to the wayside. But they, you know, moved in with the times and found their niche. And they've just recently come out with these covers that are really cool. And there's 3 different sizes. And it makes it more like a real notebook. I know you've heard me talk about bullet journaling. I love, I've got other journals. Like I said, I got journals by the dozen. This is a, let's see, I got it upside down. This is a traveling notebook, and it's based off of the Midori, which was created in Japan, and this is a Chic Sparrow, which is one of my favorite. I have favorite journals, Chic Sparrow, I'm going blank. There's a guy it used to be, oh gosh, I'd have to look. He changed his name. It's like Planners by Joey, but that wasn't its original name. And something Fawn, Speckled Fawn. You can find her on Facebook, on Etsy. She has her own website now. And these are women that created companies and have grown and are supporting their families now. But, I mean, you can get these cool, like, dashboards, and I found books that everybody's gotten on board with this. You can, you know, they have these ties, and then you can get a little kind of, this is turned wrong, but this is something cute I found it. Let me just do it right. At Hobby Lobby, and it's a laminated little daisy. It's just so cute. And then for work, and you probably don't care about this stuff at all, but hopefully you're still with me. This is a buffalo, made out of buffalo, and this is it's over in like the Netherlands or Denmark or some little bitty Vanderspek, and ordering them is kind of interesting. But here's some of my watercolors, just testing a palette. And the inserts I get for this are Cocoa Daisy. And again, it's another woman-owned base company-based company that came out of journals and notebooks, and they just have all kinds of really neat daily pages. They have pretty calendars. Trying to find a blank sheet. This is for one day. One side is notes and ideas, and it says 15-minute pickup. Like, what are you going to focus on that day? Meals, must do with checkoffs, call or email checkoffs, to-do list, and then schedule, and then tracking your liquids. You know, I like them all, and all for different reasons, and all for different purposes. And sometimes I'm more in line with Traveler's Notebooks, and I love bullet journaling, and there's some excellent videos on YouTube about it. It just really is really, really cool. And you don't have to be the best artist. You will see people that are so creative at lettering and doing all this beautiful work, but really it's just very basic, and you can start off basic and keep it basic. And like the guys that do it, it's very straightforward. A lot of other people are very artistic about it. They do a lot of monthly pages. They track movies they want to watch, books they've read, important things that are coming up, what they're doing that day, what the weather is. It's just interesting. And, you know, our lives are interesting, even if you don't have a whole lot going on. And I think if we're mindful about it, it does help us remain grateful. And, oh, the other thing, I'm not going to play anything for you with a ukulele, but I thought I would show you some of my favorite ukuleles right now. And they're not tuned because the weather's changing. This is a Fender, and I don't know if you can see the white, God, I'm trying to think of what it's called. I think it's binding. And then it's got the Fender, is it headstock? I'm not real sure. Where the tuning pegs are. And these don't stay in tune like some of the others, but I haven't been playing them daily. And I think I've already shared with ukuleles, the strings don't get broken in for a while. And some ukuleles may never stay in tune. And others will have the ability to stay in tune. And, oh, you know I like outdoor ukuleles. Well, I don't know if I showed you the green one, but this one is clear. Is that not the greatest thing? And it's got a sticker inside, and when you buy them, you can buy these buttons, and you can hook, they have straps you can either snap on here, or you can tie it up here, and it really helps you, takes the pressure off holding it up. The beauty of this is also a homegrown company that came out of nowhere, that is not in Hawaii, and they've improved the model with input from users, but this can go from the hottest environment to the coldest environment that you'll ever be in, and they could go into it without breaking or coming apart. You can take it into a waterfall. It's just really cool. So, and if you look online, they come in two sizes. This one, the smallest size, is a soprano, and with normal ukuleles made out of wood, they come in 4 sizes. Soprano, God, can't think of the next one. Tenor, and then, well, I'm going blank, so I'll have to look it up. But for now, with my hand abilities, sopranos, for the most part, are what I'm liking. If you watched America's Got Talent and Grace Fender came out with a Grace Fender. She ended up playing, they created a Fender for her for performances. And this one is not amplified, and it comes with one button at the end, but it does have her signature. So that one's quite unique. And she's pretty amazing. We talk about, I think Simon Cowell said she's the next Taylor Swift. She just thinks really uniquely and writes her own songs. And then my favorite plane is this little beauty. It's Ohana. And I don't know if you can see it. It is red and it's high gloss and it's got the cream binding, and beyond just being beautiful. I mean, it's just beautiful. I like the way it plays. Again, I am never going to be... I went to a workshop and it said beginners, like in the first segment, and then the second session was for, you know, those that could really play. Well, I went, and really, it was not for beginners. And, you know, I understand now they didn't have time to go that slow. The people who could play really well showed up, and, you know, they're doing all these riffs and all these picking, and, you know, I could barely find the keys. So, the guy had come up from Austin, and he started a Austin ukulele headquarters down there, and it's massive. And he helped start the one up here in Dallas, and he could see I was struggling. It was to the point I almost got up and left. But he just said, you know, the one thing is just not to give up. And, you know, yeah, there's going to be people that are better than you. Oh, and I think, I'm merging two things. I saw this guy on doing a Q&A on YouTube. He had a ukulele YouTube channel. And a girl that had been following him had been trying to learn to play the ukulele. It had been 4 months. She was having difficulty. And she had asked, when is it fun? And she said she was not having fun. And so he was talking to her, and he said, you know, people, some are going to come to it and just naturally have a knack for it. And he had started with the guitar and really had not picked up on it and had given that up, and then ended up with ukulele. And he said, you know, when you can start being happy playing the ukulele is when you can learn a song. And then he started playing a song with only a couple of chords. And off the top of my head, I think it was Jesus Loves Me, Yes I Know. And he said, that's when you can be happy. Learn one song. And he said, you may not be the person doing all these spectacular things and all these nuances to the song, but you can still have fun. And that's what I'm trying to... my little Frenchie, handmade. I did not make this. It's made by a designer. But I think it's cute that his name is Frenchie because he's the color of French's mustard. So I think that's adorable. But handmade wool. I do love teddy bears too. There's so many things I like, and I like to collect. But anyway, I think that goes along with anything, like with cross stitch. I look at these people who can massively produce things time after time. They've got something done, and just fast. I'm talking really fast. And I'm like, wow, I can't finish one thing. But, it's just get enjoyment out of it. And what's right for you and what your abilities are may not. Don't stress yourself out trying to be just like somebody. You're the only person that is you. You've got qualities and nuances to yourself that nobody else has. Just be the best version of you can be. And I think all I can say is be kind. Be kind to somebody. I've been driving around with people, having them drive in the road rage and getting angry, and it just makes me really think back. There were times when I was rushing to the hospital for my dad, or my mom was dying and going into hospice, and I was probably upsetting the person behind me because I may not have been going fast enough. I might have been having like a breakdown in the car. You just don't know. The person may have just lost their job. We don't know what's going on. And Lord knows there's so much people have to handle nowadays. Just be kind, be understanding and forgiving, and just say a nice word. I saw a campaign that's, I think it was on probably a little blurb on YouTube, and it was about how that one person reached out to somebody who was having suicidal thoughts or who was really struggling with something. One person who thought about that person that moment and called and showed a little kindness. Or I try to, if I'm going through the checkout line, I don't do self-checkout. For one reason, I don't want to check myself out. For another, I talk to the person that's checking out my groceries, unless, they're just not approachable. But I try to make conversation and thank them, and, I bet they don't get many thanks during the day. And there's people that I go back to because they're just joy on their face, and that's the way they live life. So I'll end that. I think I've repetitively said that, but your one kindness could be what saves a person. So just be there for your friends and family during the holiday season. It's hard enough. During Thanksgiving, I used to spend it with my mom, and now that she's gone, that's no longer an option. My dad's not here. My girls are with their father, and that side of the family. And this year, I had friends that had Friendsgiving, and we met on the Saturday before and had Thanksgiving. And yeah, it was kind of sad on Thanksgiving, but I slept late. I've been needing some sleep, and I had a Thanksgiving. It wasn't on that day, but be kind to everybody that you can think of. Oh, one thing I haven't talked about was Thanksgiving, and one thing I think I've talked about on this channel, the other I haven't. I do like the Dallas Cowboys, and they're a tradition on Thanksgiving. They always play, and they won. It was a nail biter. It was a great game. I want to see the replay of it. So that is a Texas tradition, Thanksgiving tradition. And the second Texas tradition is the Apache Bells, which I was an Apache Bell way back when I was in college. And for, I think, 15 or 19 years, they've been a mainstay of the televised Thanksgiving parade out of Houston. And, I follow them on we have unique Facebook pages, but someone had been able to watch them and, filmed what was shown on the TV. And oh my God, I've uploaded it to my Facebook page, Diane Rivera. I'm biased, I'm sure, but I love high kick routines, and most of you who aren't in Texas, drill team is not, the flag team with the band. It's dance teams, and the level of expertise that these girls deliver nowadays is just unimaginable. But their high kicks were spot on. And they're Texas beauties, and they travel around the world. And I'm just proud to have ever been a belle. And once a belle, always a belle. So after you've been an Apache belle, when you're not, then you're a belle gold. So I'm a belle gold, line 31. So my Texas traditions for Thanksgiving: Dallas Cowboys and the Apache Bells performing at the Thanksgiving Day parade. So I hope y'all are being thankful, and maybe to start a gratitude journal with, I need to do it, do what I'm talking about. But I do need to be focused on what I am so thankful for, because I am very thankful. Yes, I have things I worry about. I don't live in a wonderful house or things, but I have so much. I have friends, I have family, I have my health for the most part. I have two loving pugs, and a horse, and we all have something to be very thankful for. So I'm thankful for anyone that's watching, and for those that subscribe, thank you so much. And I love every comment. I read them all. So please share your thoughts with me. I would love suggestions or anything that maybe touched a chord with you. But I apologize for being gone so long, and hopefully it won't be near as long before the next one. Happy holidays. Bye.